How are you guys this evening?
Good.
Awesome. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for taking time out of your night to come onto my show, Paranormal Brew. I appreciate it. Anybody that watches my show or knows me knows my core love of my life is Gettysburg. And I happen to, it's crazy that I've been going there since 2007 and I go so much, at least once a month now, but I go so much and I always drive past the Gettysburg Academy, which is what I now know is the Gettysburg Academy. But I would always drive past and be like, oh my God, that house is so awesome. And I was always so curious because of the two entrances right in the front. So I was like, is that a business? Is it a private residence? All kinds of stuff would go through my head. And lo and behold, it was a private home. And there's a cool story behind the two doors and everything, which we will get to. But I'm going to shut up. I want to introduce everybody. Scott, him and his wife own the Gettysburg Academy. And really is an awesome place. Like, not for nothing. If you go there, it's gorgeous. I mean, Scott has opened it. You guys have opened it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just say Scott, but you guys have opened it up to the public to have weddings, photos, banquets, parties,
bed and breakfast.
Yeah, bed and breakfast. Well, I was going to say not just paranormal stuff, but paranormal investigations. You have it's a bed and breakfast, so you rent rooms out, and it's become and it's so well preserved. So thank you, Scott, for that. You both. I'm sorry. Thank you both. I mean, you walk through the house, and it's so clean. It's so well kept. It's been so well preserved. Like I would sleep on the floor and not even think twice about it,
That can be arranged.
Well, thank you.
I mean, everywhere from the up in the attic, it's such a neat space, and it feels so homey there. Like you feel very welcome there as well. So thank you for all that love and hard work you guys have put into it, because the building itself you can feel that it's happy. You can feel that it's like, loving what's going on there, because it has such a good vibe when you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you guys talk about your journey to the Gettysburg Academy.
Well, it's been I've been going there since I was born. My great-grandfather bought it in 1932 at a sheriff's sale. The building was, at that point, the property was known as the old haunted house on the corner. It was very overgrown. The roof was caved in, and he bought it. He had a pastry shop in town, and he and his wife purchased it to make half of it a motel and to live in the other half. So he did the first major renovation of the building to make it habitable again in 1932. Ran a motel there until the early 1950s. He lived on one side, and the majority of the building was the motel. He lived there. His son and daughter-in-law, my grandparents, lived there. Then my parents purchased it in the late 80s from my grandfather, and the building went through another renovation, basically to put central air in, to update the outside, put shutters back on the house, which were originally on the building when it was constructed in 1810, and put the cupola back up on top, which when my great-grandfather redid the whole roof, what good German would put a hole in the roof to put a cupola up? So he did not put it on in 1932, but in 1994, my brothers and I, and my father, rebuilt the cupola on our farm in Maryland and hauled it up and cut a hole in the roof and put the cupola back up on top, which is a functional cupola as it was when the building was constructed. But I never thought that I would own it. Deb and I had a beef cattle farm in Maryland. I was doing forestry work for the Army, and Deb did environmental compliance and inspections and management in Harford County. And it was just my mom's health started to fail. Mom was born in 1938, and she was probably the person who spent the most time in the building. And my pop passed away in 2015. And in 2020, my mom said that she was the building was just too much for her to take care of anymore. Deb and I had moved up here in 2019 to help take care of Mom and take care of the building. There was a lot of deferred maintenance and things like that. And Mom moved out in 2020, and Deb and I had the understanding with my brothers that if we did move up here, that I would purchase the building from them. I have 3 brothers, so the goal was basically, I looked at the building probably the same way my great-grandfather did and said, that as a commercial enterprise, it'd be an awesome bed and breakfast, with Gettysburg and the tourism industry. But it'd be nice to actually open the building back up to the public, whether it's through a bed and breakfast or private events, or like this past weekend during the Christmas festival, we had Santa Claus on Saturday.
Scott Santa.
You were Santa?
Yeah, somehow I got talked into. No, I'm not.
Awesome.
I still believe. And then on Sunday we had book signings with. We had Gene Green, who's a local historian, and Mark Nesbitt, who's both a historian and a paranormal, I would say, investigator, researcher.
Author.
Do you know Mark Nesbitt?
Oh, I know him very well. I love Mark.
Yep, he was there doing book signings, and then we also had Daryl Marston, who would come during a Haunted Nights event on Halloween.
He came.
Yeah, so he came back and also was doing signings there as well on Sunday, which was kind of neat. Just again to open the building up to the public and let them see that it is set up as a bed and breakfast. You can do small events there, and as such an iconic structure. In the borough, it was built in 1810 as Gettysburg or Adams County's first public school, and in 1826 it became the home of the Gettysburg Lutheran Seminary. Samuel Schmucker and Thaddeus Stevens and Dr. Davis started that, and then in 1832, Schmucker and Thaddeus Stevens determined that the students attending the seminary needed to be better educated, so that's when they opened up Pennsylvania College, which was there up until 1837.
So wait, I want people, because I never knew this. I just want to touch on that for a second. The Pennsylvania College is now Gettysburg College. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't think people understand that, like, this cool little structure, it used to be Pennsylvania College / Gettysburg, what now is, it moved, but it was like the original Pennsylvania College, which is amazing. Go ahead.
Well, it's a lot of folks consider it the quote unquote cradle of Lutheran education in the United States. And that's, the seminary, Pennsylvania College, which in 1921 changed its name to Gettysburg College. The Adams County Anti-Slavery Society had meetings in that building in 1836 and 1837. We can't confirm it whether Frederick Douglass was there in 1837 when he came and spoke in Gettysburg or not, but I imagine so, since Thaddeus Stevens was so intimately associated with that structure. And then, as a private girls' school, the Eister Institute. I mean, there's just, you can go on and on about the history of the building up until, and I can bore you with that, or we can go right to, it went into private ownership in about the 1880s.
Right.
but yeah, it was a hospital during the battle. That's where Tilly Pierce was a student, and the infamous quote of "Girls, run home as quickly as you can." That Mrs. Rebecca Eister was the teacher and owner at that point, and that was, she said that on Thursday before the battle. During the battle, some of the girls were back sitting on the fence there that was right there along Washington Street, singing to the Union troops marching up Washington Street, and yeah, they actually did that whenever they had a reunion in Gettysburg for the Civil War veterans, up until and including 1913, which was the 50th anniversary. Any remaining students that were still alive would sit there or stand next to the fence and sing to the soldiers. And in 1913, Tilly Pierce was still there, and one other girl that was in a student at the school at the time that sang on the fence. They were both. That was the last year that any of the girls sang along the fence. Was 1913.
Well, yeah, that was the last time that like Chamberlain was in Gettysburg too.
Was it?
There, yeah. He used to go back to Little Round Top quite often. I used to thought somebody had told me at one point it was every year, but then I found out it wasn't every year, but it was often. He would go back to Little Round Top on the anniversary of the war. And the last time he was there was 1913.
Well, that must have been a big one. Was Sickles there too in 13? I don't know.
I don't know when the last reunion of that was, like where they met at the Angle, where they used to meet at the Angle and stuff.
Right.
I don't know what year that was, but I don't know. The plugs aren't working down here. So I don't know. Damn it, ADHD. But that would be a cool little reenactment on your street.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. That would be like such a good idea. I mean, I'm sure you would have to fight to have that happen, but
yeah, number one to get the fence. Yeah, the borough. Yeah, Gettysburg Borough is a interesting.
We don't have time for that.
Yeah,
tonight.
I just want to give a shout out. We have somebody watching from Indonesia, so
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so say hi to Jing. It's probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning there, but she is a trooper.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Come visit.
Yeah, come to Gettysburg.
I know, she has to. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like I don't understand. That's the one thing that I don't understand is like I feel like that building should have so much more because of the history there. There should be so much, like they should be helping you no matter what to get this going. You know what I mean?
We're trying to, in spite of the borough, we're moving forward. We're good to go now with what we've been trying to do for 2 years.
Yeah.
Trying to, whether it's, we're obviously going to continue with our association with paranormal events there because the people are
having a lot of experience, a lot of positive energy in the house.
Yeah.
I haven't really had a lot of like negative forces in there where people are having, they're disturbed or upset, where people are having good connections with a lot of the energy.
Absolutely. I know for myself when I was there, it was like, I said this when we first came on, it's such a positive, welcoming, you know what I mean? Like you can tell, like the building is like literally, it feels still alive, if you will. You know what I mean? Like it feels still very much alive. And I mean, they got it. The town has got to appreciate that at some point because of the history there. I mean, it played a part. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but it played a part in the African American history in Gettysburg as well, right? I mean,
absolutely,
huge,
absolutely. Like I was saying, the Anti-Slavery Society meetings there, Frederick Douglass being in town, Thaddeus Stevens. I mean, he was, responsible for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the Constitution, but he was very, very, very involved with that structure, being on the board of trustees for Pennsylvania College, the Lutheran Seminary, the public school, to all the way up until I was just talking to a neighbor, Ron Dokes, and it's funny. He's a black man and he's probably early 80s, And I was just talking to him day before yesterday. He says, your grandfather used to let us come over there and dig in the yard for night crawlers. I'm like, what? He goes, oh, yeah. We could go over there all the time because the building's located in what's called, Gettysburg's split up into 3 wards. And we're in the 3rd ward, which is the historically black side of black portion of town. And, unfortunately, admittedly so, the history of Gettysburg was, not it wasn't segregated, but there were portions of the borough that frowned upon blacks being out after dark and being on Chambersburg Street. So, and Ron was telling me all this. It was kind of, it was very eye-opening, and he's a neat, but it's important to know that history to know how Gettysburg's evolved and continues to evolve. But yeah, the building, I believe that Gettysburg College, or Pennsylvania College's first black student, was admitted in 1836 when the college was still in that building.
Oh, cool. And what, so, and I think that's important for people to understand. This is why I don't understand, with all of this history that is a part of this house, right? I just don't understand why you don't get like the full support on what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Doesn't make any sense to us either. So,
well, and the powers that be, we're going down a dangerous hole here. The powers that be on the borough council, none of them are business owners right now, so they really don't understand what it takes to get a business going in Gettysburg.
Or to preserve such a structure.
Right.
How do you keep a house? I mean, they offered to donate it to the college, and they refused to take it.
Yeah, my parents
for free.
My parents were looking to, my dad was very concerned about sustaining the building, and they offered it to the college in the early 2000s, and the college didn't want it
without a fund to take care of it. So
my dad was going to give it to him for free, but they wanted $1 million to go with it as an endowment to take care of it. And Pop's like, no, you can have the property. I'm not going to give you any money.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it doesn't make that just. It's just mind blowing to me. Like it just.
Well, I'm sure there's whatever, and it's just same thing with the current policymakers in the borough. They are not. They're more residential focused. They don't want. I don't know.
More businesses.
You should be supporting business, because without business and
right.
commerce and a commercial tourist town, we're all going to not have somewhere to live or work.
Well, the people that live and work in town, like that's like their number one income is
their livelihood.
Tourists, you know what I mean? Because it's
absolutely. And it's only like 2 or 2.5 square miles. It's not a big town. So.
No. And it's all about preserving history. They're all about preserving the history. And here you have this amazing piece of property, that wants to get shared, and I mean, God love you. I mean, you got through all that stuff, and here you are opening your doors to the paranormal community. I'll say thank you, because it's, I think it's amazing. There's not a lot of people that, because you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, weren't into the paranormal stuff.
I was always interested.
Okay.
He's a bah humbug about everything.
So so you're an enthusiast, but he really is not into it.
I kind of talked him into it, so he took it with a grain of salt. But
no, and I think
he's been getting into it more. So
and the paranormal, y'all really do care about. It's not just investigation, but you're passionate about preserving historic structures to be able to continue to facilitate investigations. And I'm thankful that you all are interested in the building and the property. Don't forget, the whole side yard was used as a cemetery when it was a hospital.
Right. So the side of the property is a cemetery. And did something happen on the front porch? You didn't say?
Yeah.
My abbreviated history didn't include the.
I know. I don't like abbreviated histories.
I'm sorry. The 150th. So on I believe it was the second day of the battle when the Union was retreating up or south on Washington Street. A North Carolina unit pinned 2 soldiers and killed them on the front porch of the structure of the academy, and captured the 150th Bucktails Regiment's battle flag. And on their way back to North Carolina, they were shot and killed, but their dying wish was that the battle flag that was captured on the front porch of the academy be presented to Jefferson Davis, because it was it was pretty symbolic flag, 150th Pennsylvania Regiment, which was from north central Pennsylvania. And we know all this history because when Jefferson Davis was captured in Milledgeville, Georgia, when he was fleeing Richmond, he was captured with one flag in his possession, and it was the flag that was captured on the front porch of the academy. And that flag is now back in Harrisburg, the state capital of Pennsylvania, and in their flag collection. So, yeah, it's kind of cool. Joseph Gutilius was the corporal flag bearer from the 150th. The front porch is a little bit different today than it was. It's always had two front doors. The one door has been moved about 4 feet and swapped out with a window. But I think,
is it on the historical registry? I'm assuming.
Well, technically yes, because Gettysburg has what's called, as many towns do, they have a historic district that was coordinated between the municipality and the Department of Interior. So when you apply to create a historic district, you have to name contributing properties. And the Gettysburg Academy was listed was called Rooning Hall, because that's my grandparents' last name. They called it Rooning Hall of Gettysburg College. That structure and address are listed in the list of contributing properties within the historic district. So technically any property that's listed as a contributing property is technically on the National Register.
Right. And that's good.
But
we aren't listed on that.
But we don't have a plaque.
But if you did have that, everything you would have to do to that house, you'd have to get it approved.
Oh, I still do.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Well, yeah. No, I know Deb has to approve everything for sure.
Well, no.
Well, I work for the municipal building in the Heart District, so I review all the permitting that comes through for the historic buildings.
So you got it in.
Yeah. Well, no.
That
makes it worse having somebody, because then they think that, I'm getting all, Deb was approving all my permits and stuff. I'm like, how stupid do you think we were? We weren't going to have Deb approve Scott's permits. We don't work that way. But it actually makes life very tough for Deb at work, because, in the end, I ended up hiring attorneys to make sure we got to where we wanted to be. And
it was a long process.
It's a long,
like 2 years.
Yeah, you don't even want to hear that.
But tell me about your great grandmother seamstress story. That's really, really good story.
Where my great grandfather, when he came home in 1932, he had opened a pastry shop in 1929. They had moved to Gettysburg in 1926. He and his wife Isabel had moved from Potter County, where they were sharecroppers, and he came home from the auction and said, I bought the place down in the corner. And she goes, oh, that old place. She was not very enthusiastic about the purchase of the property, because it was very run down. The roof was caved in and things like that. So fast forward to the 1950s, when President Eisenhower retired to Gettysburg, my great grandmother became his personal seamstress. So any alterations, repairs, or anything, to his clothes.
That's so cool.
And we still have her old sewing machine.
Oh, yeah. We have.
Oh, my God. That's so awesome.
But one time the Secret Service came from the farm. They came, into town and said, oh, Ms. Rooning, you got to come with us out to the farm, because he's got a clothing situation, needs your expertise like pronto.
They had a big event going on. He couldn't leave.
You have to go out to the farm?
Well, and then my great grandmother, Isabel, looked at the Secret Service and said, if the general needs his clothes worked on, he'll come see me.
Oh.
So they had to
refuse to go.
They had to go out, bring him in, got everything sewed up, and then, she was very German. I don't think she ever said probably 10 words to me.
Well, listen, I'd have taken any opportunity to get in the house like that. That would have been so cool.
They were probably
a little cranky.
Well, they were just very German, very quiet. I mean, it was just my mom has told me a few things about holiday dinners and the lack thereof, and just growing up, it was a very my great grandparents, my grandfather's parents, did not approve of my grandmother, because grandmother was from Hanover, which is about 20 miles away, and she was a Weikert, and for some reason they didn't like. Anyway, it's just very interesting. But they were very German. Didn't say 2 words.
His mom got a lot of that too, because in one of our anniversaries, it was like 15 years. She's like, I'm surprised you two were still married. I didn't know if that was a compliment or what, how she meant it, but yeah.
Because I say that when I die, I'm going to haunt the Eisenhower house. That's my favorite.
It
property.
is beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, it's already furnished. It's got animals. I'm going to have visitors all the time. Like, and there's people that take care of it for me.
Right.
It's got the best sunsets besides Little Round Top. I'm like, this is like awesome. So I'm going to haunt.
They're fixing the fence for you right now. They're actually Park Service is replacing the fence along Pumping Station Road. That white fence with the X's and the bar underneath of it. They're
near the watchtower, all the way down. It's
Yep.
very nice. They did a really nice job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. They're have you ever been there at Christmas time? Because it's all decorated for Christmas.
No.
You got to get in there.
I know. I come for New Year's every year. And
I know
they're doing a big block party. We're going to be there for New Year's too.
You are? Yay!
They're blocking off the whole square. They're going to have outside DJ. They have.
So I've been coming to Gettysburg for New Year's probably for like, I don't know, 10 years now.
Okay.
Were you there last year?
Yep.
Well, then you were there. The block, they had the square closed down for the party.
And it wasn't too crowded because it had rained a little, and we got there because we had a paranormal hunt in the house, and we had to be there till 2 a.m. So we walked down to the square, and it was so much fun.
You're never going to get, if I say something is bad in Gettysburg, you know it's bad. Right? I mean, I can't say anything bad about the New Year's Eve. So I have now, it used to be just me and my boyfriend, and now I have like 6 couples that join us now from like, Maryland and Jersey, and last year we had somebody come up from Florida. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can sell Gettysburg to anybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people are coming up from Florida to celebrate New Year's.
Absolutely. We had the Christmas festival this weekend, and my cousins were here, and they're like, what are you guys doing for New Year's? We'd like to come to Gettysburg. So I'm like, sure, come on up. So
yeah, they used to do. They're not doing the fireworks this year, which is fine. They're doing some light show. I mean, I don't
think they could get anybody to fund them. So,
well, they were saying that people were complaining about the air pollution from the fireworks.
People complain about everything.
Yeah, it sounds like Gettysburg.
But yeah, I think they lost some funding and the person. So I'm not really exactly sure. But that's a shame. We won't have it. But yeah, but
they're doing some like cool light show or something.
Okay,
they're doing so that'll still be cool. And it's
absolutely
New Year's in Gettysburg. You're on the square. It's so much fun. Vendors, and you know what I mean. Like, and it's innocent fun. Everybody's just minding their own business with their people, dancing
and families. It's a big mix of everybody. So
yeah, and it's so cool. So cool. I'll see you guys.
Yeah, we'll be there.
The raising of Abe's hat.
That's right. Yep, they are doing that again this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was seeing the pictures going up as they were like making it,
It's pretty cool.
So let's talk about the paranormal stuff. And I know this is a little different. We were talking about this before we went live. I was talking about this with Deb and Scott, that it's the first time that I've had location owners on, that really haven't experienced anything yet. Deb's an enthusiast. Scott's like, really, I mean, do you believe or you don't believe?
I believe, but I've spent so much time, I mean, growing up in the building, and then, I lived there full time for 2 years, and it's, other than my grandfather walking around.
He does sleep like a rock. You could literally set off fireworks in the room and he would not wake up. You could drag him out of the bed and he wouldn't wake up. But unless do you think maybe
you possibly could have had an experience, but just didn't take it as such? Because let's be honest, like for you, I think it would be more on the familial side, like people from your family who love the house just as much as you do, right? So like signs from loved ones that put so much blood, sweat, and tears into the house. You know what I mean? That I would think that that's more what you would, if anything, would experience, something familiar to you.
Yeah, I mean, we still keep Pop in the building. He's still there.
He's in a little urn, ceramic urn, so he hangs out with us.
Yeah, because Mom and Dad, they had a discussion on who determined. Pop always wanted to be buried in Harrisburg. That's where he's from. Mom always wanted to be buried in Gettysburg. That's where she's from. And I guess they agreed. At least that's the rumor, is because I never saw anything in writing. But whoever the last one alive is, they get the tip. And of course,
so he's hanging out at the academy till then.
And Mom's kind of, she recognizes me. She doesn't recognize Deb. So Mom's kind of in a transitional phase as well. But no, I mean, if I go in the building and it's a foggy morning, I'm there by myself, I'm checking the attic for leaks, which I do, because of the slate roof. It's a
little eerie.
Yeah, it's a big building, and there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of things that have happened there, and the attic still has the original floor. The structure, it's just very big and can be a little eerie.
But it's almost like it's almost like, and I know you guys went through a lot of work to get it to where it is right now, but it's almost as like when you step in, even on the property, I'll be honest with you, the whole property, the outside and the inside, it's almost like you take a step back into time.
History. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like a brand new building for 1880, or I'm sorry, what was it, 1813?
1813 is when it was, 1810, 1813,
it's almost like you're stepping into that time where it was built, just like maybe it was just built because everything's so well redone, so well preserved, so well, whatever, I was literally walking around that building and I was just, I forgot I was there for paranormal investigation because I'm walking around, I'm just like, this is amazing. Like,
a lot of people in the huts did that too. They came to hut and they're like, oh my gosh, your building's so beautiful. And they just walk around looking at everything. And
I'll be honest with you, because, and I'm sure everybody out there that does investigations will agree with you. We're in asylum, so you can imagine how clean and warm and whatever they are. And then, you have, you have the homes that are just, either the owners don't stay there, which I know you guys don't stay there, but it's not lived in, if you will. It's like just opened up for paranormal investigation. So, there's holes in the walls and there's this one, and I'm not knocking. I know that it's, I know that some of these places, it's a lot of money to fix up. And the reason we do the paranormal investigations is to help that part of it. You know what I mean? So when you walk into your building, it's almost like you're, if you were like to think of the Titanic, it's like now you're in first class, it's like, we're usually like, the second floor down, steerage, or, whatever. And again, not knocking anybody or anything like that, but that's true. So when you walk in here, you're like, I don't want to leave. You automatically don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's kind of what we want to, my great grandfather called it motel tourist home, and we call it the Gettysburg Academy tourist home to kind of, it's kind of like your home away from home. We wanted people to feel comfortable. We put central air in the 90s. It still has hot water radiator heat, so it's very. We like to keep the creature comforts there.
Brand new mattresses.
All brand new beds and mattresses. Well, they're old beds. I used oak headboards and then put queen extenders on, so we could put brand new queen size. But yeah, we want people to feel comfortable, but at the same time realize that they're in a very historic part of town. Some historians have called the intersection of High and Washington Street the most historic intersection, not just because of the battle flag being captured there, but because of the amount of traffic up and down Washington Street. And enjoy the history of the building, whether you're associated with the Lutheran Church or the college. And it's very convenient. I mean, we're 2 blocks from the square. There's off-street parking. There's a nice big side yard to.
I literally can picture myself like in the summer, right? And like you guys should get like those rhododendron chairs. I know I'm saying that wrong. I don't know how to say it, but you guys should get those chairs and stuff, and like the side yard where the cemetery used to be. Just kind of like putting up like fire pit or something. Like I don't know how much you guys can do. I know you guys have had a lot going on, but I'm just saying, like I could totally picture myself just out there with like a glass of wine and and like a golden retriever.
Well, Even the back porch. There's a second story
Yes.
back porch that we have.
And the
video.
cupola, don't forget. You can go all the way up on the roof in the cupola.
I did it. I said I want to go up.
Yes, you did.
I did go up. I have
It's pretty amazing. You can see the entire town.
Oh, it was gorgeous. I was like, I'm in love with this place. You know. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson. I'm such a fangirl of Brandon. I love him so much. He loves Gettysburg as much as I do.
Oh,
and
good.
Said the Academy is hands down one of the best locations I've been to. Highly recommended to everyone to visit. I'm serious.
Well,
thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
For sure. I agree.
And that was a great article that you
wrote, on the website.
That you wrote.
Oh, on the website?
Yeah, it was going to be in
there. Yeah.
It was going to be in the magazine. You wrote an article
in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
transitional thing going on there as well, but
no, and yeah, but yeah, I mean, you guys, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I literally, you guys need more people need to know about it. I mean, it's literally one of the best places in, or probably anywhere, but it does help me that's in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I can't wait to get back there. I mean, I literally, when I like I said, when I stepped in, I was like, I don't want to leave. Like, this is amazing. That being said, you know, when I was there, you know, I know that, you know, it was a hectic weekend. We had dinner at the Ghost there, which sold out, which was amazing. And then, so Friday night we got to investigate, and Saturday night we got to investigate, and there was like a lot of stuff happening. I mean, I was surprised. You know, both nights stuff was happening, and then, like I said, I was surprised because you'd think, like, with a bigger group, what we had on Saturday night, you know, but then you got to think, and this is where the history of everything comes into play. That building is used to hosting parties,
Mm-hmm.
You know, all throughout history. You know, I mean, whether it was, you know, an inn, whether it was a meeting place for the schools and the churches and stuff, like, it's used to. So you have to imagine that having groups of people like that in there kind of charges the battery a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, almost, you know, I used to watch Ghost Lab, it was called, and they call this like era cues, right? Where, you know, you're trying to do something like play Civil War music, or, you know, do something to kind of like fit that time period, if you will. So I think that plays a lot into it, you know, with the more people being there, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, John and Deb do an awesome job. The Dinner with a Ghost was just fantastic this past weekend, and on Friday night we got audible whistling and laughing.
Wow, that's cool.
Which was really cool. Yeah, it was just very. It was very lively. Yeah. Friday and Saturday night.
Now, are you there when people are like doing the investigations? Do you join in? I mean, I know, but I'm interviewing you, right? So I'm just gonna ask the question. So, like, are you guys there? You know, when these investigations are going on, and do you witness people experiencing stuff, and do you believe that? Do you believe, like, the stuff that's happening?
Yeah. I mean, with the, you know, especially the whistling, it wasn't just like random whistling. It was kind of like carrying a tune, and then the laughter, you could hear the laughter. It was somebody laughing, and it wasn't anybody that was there physically.
Could you tell if it was a child? Was it a woman, man?
I think it was a man.
What floor was it on? Was it the attic?
It was in the attic.
The attic seems to be pretty active, and then the back bedrooms seem to be a kind of the hotter, more energy areas.
You know, what sucks is I really didn't get a chance to really investigate too much more. I was in the attic because we were in the attic so much. Mm-hmm. You know, like, we were so, all of us, like, really hung out in the attic a lot, you know, like, not thinking. And then I know we went around for a little bit, and I know that in the attic, now, again, this isn't anything bad. It was just the way that some people were reacting. But in that back corner, I want to say opposite of, do you have a radio on? It's weird.
When you go up the steps, do you make a right or left from the
So when you
attic?
go up the steps, you're going to go right.
Okay.
So the
That's
back.
over Washington
That's
Street.
Washington Street side where all the
Okay.
stuff was happening.
So we were with like probably 8 people, and one of the investigators was sitting opposite of like where everybody else was. There was a lot of stuff going on. I have obviously on audio, but Mike was in one side, he was in one side, some of us were in the middle, and at one point, when Mike was sitting on when you go up the steps, if you go up to the left, he was sitting on that side by himself, and there was like a click noise or a bang noise, and it's like somebody punched or hit the floor. Like that's how loud it was. It wasn't questionable. Like you knew, and he heard it, or he didn't hear. Can't remember if he heard it or he didn't hear it, but all of us heard it, and we couldn't figure out what it was. And then on the other side of that, the Washington Street side, someone was sitting in the chair all the way by the window, and after a little bit, she's like, I'm not feeling too good. Like, I feel like I have a headache and I like this and that. And she's like, I gotta, and she's normally not like that. So, my first thought is always, is maybe she's getting a migraine, something like this or that. She's like, I'm gonna step. She stepped down for a little bit just to kind of, get her bearings or whatever. One of the other investigators was like, all right, I'm just going to test it out. I'm going to see if I feel anything. Now, he was over there for 30 minutes to 45 minutes before he, too, started experiencing some weird stuff. It was more visual stuff, and, like, he just didn't feel. So he's like, this is crazy. But, when he's explaining stuff that's going on, and they just everybody decided to just kind of, like, stay out of that corner, And again, I don't think it's bad. It's just maybe I always use when I first started investigating, we did a private house, and I remember feeling burning on my back at one point. And they lifted my shirt up. There were red marks on my back.
Oh my God.
You would automatically think that's bad. People would think that was bad. But, when you're 20 years in, you learn stuff, you get to, whatever. Well, there was a medium there with us, and she said, that's a little girl. She put her hands on you, but she's so much stronger, like energy-wise, than you are, that's how you're feeling it. Like all she did was place her hands on your back. She didn't know, like it's just, like you couldn't accept that, so I think a lot of times people might misconstrue a lot of that stuff as something bad, when really it's just, they're here and you're here, and they're, it's like a force almost, they don't realize. I always use the movie Ghost, Patrick Swayze.
Right.
He's in the subway and he's trying to kick the can, and he can't, and his foot's going through it, and then he uses all of his energy, and the can goes flying across the subway, and he didn't mean to kick it that hard, but he's trying to get the attention of somebody, or trying to do that, I don't know where I was going with that. I think I was just trying to say that just because that was happening, it wasn't a negative thing.
Right.
Right.
It was a negative thing. I believe that there's reasons behind that stuff. Scott, John said to tell the story of your investigation with him in the Schmucker room.
So that was there was an energy coming from under the bed, and we think John was communicating with 2 younger soldiers. One was a brother, I believe, of the other one, and they were hiding under the bed, but they were looking for an opportunity to get out. And that was just kind of it was strange. Very strange.
So
But,
they were two brothers.
Hmm.
Is that
yes, young soldiers.
well, I wonder if it was the two bringing the flag back.
Oh.
I don't know.
Or
I'm not as good at telling the story as John is. I wish John were on.
yeah. Well, now when you say energy, what do you mean by energy? Do you mean like just that there was something communicating or something that was
Yeah, something communicating.
yeah. So how did you feel about that?
It's pretty intense.
It's so funny to me because now I could be totally wrong. So you're a beef farmer, right? Right?
We were. Yeah.
And you're like this. I say this with the most respect, Deb. Honestly, like he's just a burly, like a man's man, and he just looks like he should be like chopping wood and. And it's funny because he's walking us around and he's like telling us about where he got this from an antique shop and how he saw this and he's like and he's like putting so much love into this historic home, and it's I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like it's just totally it's totally doesn't fit the Scott bill, but you make it fit.
Well, there's a lot of sentimental attachment to the property. I just want to.
Well, real quick, I'll have to tell you this. One of the neighbors, he was walking down the street in front of the academy, and one of the neighbors came up and said, "Hey, buddy, are you hungry?" And he's like, "What? No." And then he kind of started walking away. And he's like, "Wait a minute. Why did you ask me if I was hungry?" He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were the homeless guy that sleeps on the bench in front of the church." So they thought he was homeless.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, no, I just want to.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's. I've always been into history. I worked on old cars with my dad. I work on old motorcycles, and so I just look at us. We're just caretakers of things that are going through. Caretakers for as long as we're alive to pass on to a future generation. So I'd just like to pass on the property at some point. That'll be Deb's decision after I'm gone.
I'm not killing him or anything, but he'll probably go for
do the right. It was like my dad was trying to figure out back in the early, 2009, 2010 time frame, what to do with the property because none of us brothers were really interested. One's in Florida, one's in DC.
And we were an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
so.
the beef cattle business was doing well, and I was still doing forestry work for the Army. So I just
kind of happened.
And there's so much of my family history around the area. I've been here since 1926 on the Rooning side, my mom's side. My dad's side's from Chickies Rock and Shamokin coal country on his side. And then my mom's mother's side is Weikert. They're from Hanover and Greenmount. So most of the furniture, lights, all that stuff in the building is family stuff. It's not,
so cool.
I did pick up some of the beds. Deb and I used to go up there, and my parents had the worst beds in that place. I mean,
I think they were full of straw and horsehair. That's what they felt like you were sleeping on.
It was almost
it was awful. Or like a spring might pop out and give you a tetanus.
I thought, well, maybe these are my great grandparents' bed because they didn't want anybody staying here, which probably the way it was just like, don't make yourself.
Sure made it uncomfortable, so you didn't want to come back.
But did either of you ever think, like, go back to the beef cattle farming? Right? Did you ever think this is where you would be?
No.
When you were there, I mean, I can understand, I can appreciate what brought you there. You know what I mean? But you went there and like you fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was kind of.
And then once we kind of toyed around with the idea, we're like, that's kind of would be a really cool thing to do. So.
And I'm not just, I retired from the Army in 2019, but I'm not, I can't just sit around. So.
We worked there 37 years. So.
But the building is just a no-brainer to be a nice, bed and breakfast and event venue, even though the borough didn't agree with that. But I really think that, and so many people in the third ward, like I was talking to Ron Dokes, he's lived in the third ward his whole life. And I told him, I said, well, the borough really wants to turn the third ward into a residence area. And he's like, he remembers when Calvin's Barbershop was across the street. Hanky Brothers store. Their store, the used car lot, H&H Pontiac.
Mexican restaurant.
Cool
stuff.
It was all kinds of stuff. It was a very vibrant neighborhood. Now, granted, it's kind of, the demographic has changed a little bit, and the dynamic of time has changed a little bit. But it'd be nice to keep it as a thriving mixed use neighborhood. So that's kind of what we're
like
hoping.
Live work community. A lot of people are buying these older houses, restoring, living in a portion of it, and having a business downstairs. I mean, that's what Gettysburg's always been.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I love that idea. I also love the idea of doing the reenactment right out there.
Yeah, like a live history thing.
Don't tell the neighbor.
Could you could do the reenactment of the stealing of the flag? You could do
that. Would be really cool. And the girls singing on the wall. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
or even singing out in front of the building.
Yeah.
I mean, you could totally do that. I think that would be so cool. I would totally sign up for that. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, that's a fabulous idea. I love it.
Because you can sing, right?
Me?
I know you can. You said you weren't going to be Santa either, and he made a great Santa. Give him a ho ho ho.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Scott.
Sing, isn't that good? That was awesome.
No, I mean, I think it's there's a lot. Everybody comes to Gettysburg for the first time, and then they kind of fall in love. I mean, it's a great little town. There's all kinds of stuff to do in town, all kinds of stuff to do around town. It's probably one of the most paranormally active spots in the world. Yeah. I mean, think of all the loss of life and and Ron Dotes.
Not only that, but you got to take into account how many people have gone there and instantly fall in love with that place. They're drawn to that place, So not only is it, holding all the history that's happened there, you know what I mean? There's something that just you either fall in love with it or you don't. And I think if you fall in love with it, you fall hardcore. People are all in. You know what I mean? I got the coordinates tattooed on my arm.
That's cool.
And I have a tattoo guy here in Jersey, but I had to get it done in Gettysburg because it was my coordinates, right? So
absolutely.
I remember texting my tattoo guy. I'm like, "Do you care if I get a tattoo?"
I'm gonna cheat on you, right?
So hard if I cheat on you, But yeah, I mean, Gettysburg is definitely. I mean, every show I bring it up. Every show I talk about Gettysburg. People that know me know my love for Gettysburg. So I just got this pendant made. It was custom made actually because she didn't have this. It was at a craft show. She makes these things where they're like called destination somethings. I don't know, but I'm looking at it and I go. She goes, what are you looking for? I said Gettysburg. She goes, never made Gettysburg. I'm like, what? Exactly. That's what I said. So she took my information and she made it for me. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Oh, cool. Yeah, with a map. That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's got Gettysburg. And I'm like, so it literally does not come off my body.
That's awesome.
So I love what, I mean, that is literally what you guys did, minus the headache.
When are you coming back?
Oh, I got to come back.
Oh, New Year's.
Yeah, I'll be there New Year's. Yeah.
Well, if you want to bring your friends by and see the inside of the house, we'll be happy to open it up for you.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would love to. They would love to see that. Absolutely.
And I didn't mean, I hope your friend Lauren doesn't think I was saying you can't stay there. But what I was trying to do is, get a bigger group to get the whole, for New Year's, kind of rent the whole building.
Oh, yeah. We might have to do that at some point. Like I said,
awesome.
I bring, obviously New Year's, the attraction is the square, right? So that's, I've been staying at the same place for over 10 years, as long as I've been coming there for New Year's because it's right on the square. But,
Are you guys at the hotel or where do you stay?
In Lincoln Square.
Lincoln Square. Okay. Yep.
So that's right next to the new paranormal joint in town.
Ghost tour. Yeah. Ghost City Tours. Yeah.
I'm not plugging other people. I'm just.
What?
You'll have to introduce yourself.
I said he's plugging other people. Don't be.
Yeah, Ghost City Tours. 80 Andrews. I know him. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I love him. So yeah, that's right next door. But You know,
Yeah, we're new.
maybe not New Year's, but maybe because I have enough, I have my peaches, and there's enough people. And who says no to going to Gettysburg?
I know.
Nobody.
Well,
Hey,
we'll
you
be
want to
great.
rent a historic B&B, and you know what I mean? And we can investigate. Who says no to that?
Well, Dinner with the Ghost will be back. We haven't set any weekends up yet. We're trying to right now, just trying to get through the end of the year, and then we're going to start looking at the calendar for 24.
Awesome. Maybe I can. So, because I always come for my birthday too. I always come for my birthday bar crawl. I have a birthday bar crawl every year, and it's in Gettysburg. And
Do you
again,
start at the top of Baltimore Street and go down, or how do you?
we usually start at like Gettysburg Eddies, and then we'll
Okay, yeah.
saloon or not the saloon, the mine. Love that place. That is the diviest of dive bars, but it is awesome. So we always make sure to hit that up. And then we just continue to go up. Dobbin's house, I get the rum bellies.
Mm.
And then I just keep going and going and going. And we just go. Usually I make it to the pub. So we always end at the Blue and Gray because that's the latest that it's open. And I have a friend that works there. So usually that's my last spot, which I sometimes make it there. But it's funny because I always hear this. I usually don't remember the walk home. And one year we ended up going to the Blue and Gray, and this guy sitting next to me, it was his birthday too. He's like, "You want to do a shot?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, I didn't know. I didn't know he got. Or he goes, "You want to do a?" I think he said drink, but when it came out to me, it looked like a shot. Well, it was Hennessy, and I picked it up and I was like, down the hatch. And my friend was bartending at the time. She's like, "You took that shot." The next thing I saw you go, you were like, and I just felt like that.
And that was it.
I said, "I don't even remember what it tastes like." I was like, "I don't even know." But everybody was like, we were walking down the middle of the street, like, "This is my town." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "How did you guys put up with me?" But we have fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I want to try to get a group of us together to come and stay at the inn, and for, maybe Friday and Saturday, and
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So with that, where can people book and, look you guys up and, get in touch with you guys? And
so the website's GettysburgAcademy.com.
And we're on Facebook. So if you like us and follow us on Facebook, we'll be posting a lot of events and stuff going on. And anybody's getting married, we do weddings and all kinds of private parties. We might start doing some private dinner parties and stuff like that. And
that's awesome.
The email's GettysburgAcademy1810@gmail.com.
Gettysburg Academy.
Yeah, Gettysburg Academy 1810.
I will volunteer myself for free if you ever need help with anything.
Okay, yay.
Seriously.
So when's your birthday?
March 2nd.
Okay.
So you don't have to volunteer your time during that time frame.
You probably wouldn't want me to because I'm like I celebrate my birthday for the entire month of March. So like
that's me too. That's on January though. So
hey, listen,
I might have to start early. So
March 2nd and the whole month I'm celebrating. I was
good for you. Well, happy early birthday.
Thank you. You too. You're before me.
Yeah, January 7th. Me and Elvis. Well, he's the 8th, but
Oh, Elvis.
We hang.
I love Elvis. Yeah, so I love everything. I really hope that people watch, and I really hope people check you guys out, and I really, really hope people go and stay because no matter what it's for, I mean, you're gonna love being there for sure.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us on.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yep. No, I love you guys. I love everything that you've done. I love how much you love the property and how much you want to preserve the history. To me, that means more to me than anything. You know what I mean? Like, and I just, any way that I can help you, just call me up if you ever need it. I will never say no to a trip to Gettysburg.
Well,
we appreciate it.
Having us on this is awesome. Having us on Paranormal Brew is awesome.
Yeah. It's like, darn it. I'm like, Scott and Deb asked me to come up and help. See you later.
See you.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
So are you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, and thank you for offering up your place to us and to everybody else. And hopefully it starts to get a little bit more, not that it doesn't, but I hope it gets to get a little bit more in town support and all that stuff once they see the good stuff you guys are doing. You know,
We're getting
Absolutely.
there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Well, stop by New Year's if you want a tour and show them the inside. Let us know.
You ain't got to ask me twice, Deb. You got it. You got it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
See you. Good night. Well, that was great. Great, great, great. I always love having, I think that's my first, Gettysburg, Gettysburg location owner on, I think. I'm pretty sure. I might have to get a couple more people that I know that own properties out there on to promote Gettysburg a little bit more. So with that being said, make sure you guys join me next week. Who do I have on December 13th? I don't have my calendar on me at the moment, but I will be back on Wednesday, and I love y'all. Thank you guys for your support. I hope everybody's having, I hope everybody's okay in everybody's world. Anyway, until next week. Love you guys.